Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Alchemy, Astrology, and Astro Health. I'm Ayer, I'm your host, and welcome back. I know that I have taken quite a break, longer than my normal break, which is usually just the month of December and sometimes the month of January. Um, Between seasons, this has been longer. I think I started like in October, and then worked all the way until now. so, um, yeah, lots of updates, and it's kind of what I just want to do today on this one is just update on things. So, life got a little hard, um, and I needed a break, so I took one, and I'm not sorry that I took one, um, but it's been it's been rough. It's been a rough, what is that, 6 months now? I don't even know. But it's been not fun. And so, yeah, I just kind of want to dive into that, give you guys some updates and some ideas about stuff that's coming. All right, so to start, let's talk about my human design a little bit. So, I'm a 5-2 reflector, which I think I've mentioned on here before. Um, but if you know anything about human design, then you know that those 5 lines can be really rough to have in your profile. The 5 line is seen as like the savior for other people. And so when people start talking to me, asking about my services, wanting to work with me, they see me immediately upon talking to me, usually, that I have all the answers and I can fix all of their problems. I am going to save them from whatever is ailing them, right? And while I am fucking good at what I do, and I can certainly provide a lot of assistance and a lot of help, and I am a healer, the thing about healers is that healers don't actually do the healing. You do the healing. We provide the tools, and then you are responsible for the healing itself, right? And I think a lot of people don't understand that, for one. And for two, a lot of people want someone else to save them. It's so much easier, and life would be so much easier, right? If other people always were coming to save us. But unfortunately, in this life, that's not the way it works. We have to save ourselves. You save you. And while people can provide the tools, people can definitely be there when you need them. I can be the practitioner that helps you understand everything medical astrology and astro nutrition and herbs and all that fun stuff, right? And all the holistic health shit. I can't do the work for you. I can't make sure that you're following the protocol. I can't be there in your life 24/7, right? To do the work for you. I give you all the tools, I give you all the information, and then you have to take that, integrate it, and go do your own thing and really do the hard work. And healing is messy. It's not fun. A lot of times, a lot of shit comes up that you have to deal with that maybe you don't want to deal with, right? It brings up a lot of childhood traumas. It brings up a lot of um, things that have happened that maybe we've forgotten about or we've tucked away in our subconscious. And so we don't think about it anymore. And that stuff comes up and it comes to the surface. But the only way to heal those issues is to go through them. Like you have to walk through the messiness, you have to walk through the emotions and the feelings and the crap that it brings up. You can't shy away from it. You can't turn around and go back the other direction. You can't climb over top of it. You can't go around it. You can't dig under it. You have to literally walk straight through the fucking middle of it. And it sucks. Trust me, I've been doing some more healing on this time off. And let me tell you, it sucks. It does. And I'm not here to deny that. But if you want to achieve what you were looking for, whatever that goal is that you've come to me for or another practitioner for, you have to get messy. You have to do the work. You have to feel all those feelings you've been avoiding. You have to stop the bad habits that have been helping you avoid feeling those feelings. You have to sit with the shit. You have to cry a whole bunch. You have to scream and yell and throw things, and you have to get it out. You have to go through it. You have to get it out, and you have to do that. And so, unfortunately, with that 5 line, people see me as the savior of whatever it is that they have ailing them, and I'm going to fix them. And they don't always truly understand that I can't fix them. I can give them all the information, but they have to fix themselves. And so it gets really hard when people view me like that a lot of times, because I get a lot of stuff put on me that I'm not actually ever said that I can do, right? I've never put out there that I'm going to do that or I can do that. I'm very honest when you come into my sphere that I can give you all the tools in the world, but like I can't fix you. I can't do the work for you. And if you come work with me and all that stuff, you will know that I have said so much straight up to people that here's what I can help you with, and then here's what it requires you to do afterwards, right? And unfortunately, part of that 5 line too is that people not only see me as I can fix all their problems, that I am the one that they have been looking for, but they also don't want to hear, acknowledge, have to deal with the fact that I'm also on a human journey, going through this human journey too in this lifetime. And I'm also healing a bunch of shit that, is coming up in my life, and that I'm also dealing with things. And so a lot of times what happens when I tell people about crap that's happening in my life and the craziness that's going on, or something that I'm working on, or something I'm struggling with, really something that I'm struggling with, where I notice is coming up the most. If I show any sort of, quote unquote, like weakness, um, any kind of like, hey, I'm also a human being, I'm having a crisis as well, that people hear what I say and they'll listen to me talk about whatever it is, right? That's upsetting me, that I'm dealing with right now. And they might even lend a listening ear or be sympathetic, hold space for me, whatever. But then they disappear. They they will leave. They'll leave my sphere. I can't tell you in the last 2 years how many people that I thought were pretty good friends, that were at least really strong acquaintances, colleagues, fellow practitioners, that I have told things to about problems going on in my life, and then poof, out of existence. I get blocked. I have people just not respond to me anymore. Maybe that's because I'm blocked and they're not getting it. I don't know, but like they just leave. And let me tell you, if you have a 5 line, it is not an easy journey. It is not for the faint of heart. It's not for anybody who is not, strong enough to get through this constant rejection for having a human experience. I'll be the first one to tell you, I see my own practitioners. I walk the walk and talk the talk that I say on this podcast, that I tell you on all my channels, that I do in all my courses and my work with you. I do the same thing. I know, and that's the best healers do know this, is that we can't continue to help others heal if we're not continuously working on our own shit, if we're not continuously doing the hard work ourselves. And let me just throw it out there, you don't want a healer in your life that's not doing those things. You want someone who's been there, done that, worked through the shit, gone through the fire and back again, been to hell and back, right? Because they are the real deal. They know what's going on. They know that it sucks. Then they can help you get through the suck and be a guide and hold your hand, hold space, help you get through it. They can't do the work for you, but they can be there alongside you, right? And they know how it feels because they've been there, and that they continuously do it. They're not just, oh, I did that once and now I'm good. They understand that healing past traumas, healing issues in the body, and all this stuff is a continuous journey that we have to be on. And so you want a healer that's been through the fire. You want a healer that's been to hell and back. You want a healer that understands this and keeps going. And so, in my estimation, I love working with practitioners that tell me that they've been there and they've done that, right? Because I know that they really, 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 truly get everything and how sucky this can really be sometimes. But when you have a 5 line, people don't want to hear that from you sometimes, that you have also been going through the shit, that you've also gone through the fire, and that you're still going through it, right? Um, and that things happen. And so it makes it really hard, because when I tell people things and they disappear, it makes it really hard to want to be open and vulnerable with people, because they make you feel like something is wrong with you for being open and vulnerable. And it really makes it hard to ever feel like, okay telling people things. It gets difficult. And so I've been going through the shit since September, October of last year, and I haven't said anything to pretty much anybody. I've quietly found my own practitioners to work with. People that I don't know. I literally sought out practitioners that did not know me on purpose, because I didn't want any of that preconceived idea of me coming through first. So I'm going to talk about some of that. And I'm just going to be open and vulnerable. And you know what? If you listen to this and you say, fuck her after this, and you leave my sphere, you block me, you run away, you never come work in my programs, that's fine. That's fine. I am allowed to express my feelings on things. I'm allowed to tell people that I don't have it all together all the time, and that you can still be a healer and still be on a journey, right? And that's okay. So if this turns you off and you run away and I never ever speak to you, work with you, that's fine. Spirit has been screaming at me that I need to talk about this more, that I need to be open and vulnerable, and I'm going to tell you, I'm scared. I don't want to. I don't. I would rather go through life putting everything inside and pretending like everything's fine. But you know what? You can't heal when you do that. You don't heal when you tamp things down inside. You don't heal when you can't talk about things. You can't heal when you're not vulnerable and open. And a lot of what's been coming through lately for me is the fact that I'm still stuck in this shit that's happening because I'm holding it inside still. I'm not opening up about it. So we're going to open up about it. If that leads to unintended consequences, so be it. Spirit knows best. They wouldn't push me this way if there wasn't a reason. So here comes my 5 planets in Scorpio, y'all. That's just going to tell you the way it is, what's been happening, and just deal with whatever transformation I have to go through because of this. So there will be some trigger warnings. If you've made it this far, thank you. I would love to tell you the rest, but trigger warnings. There's going to be talk of child SA, sexual assault, suicide, suicidal ideations. So if any of that, maybe abuse, we'll see where spirit guides. So just trigger warning for that in general, just in case that comes up. If any of those topics are too hard for you for your own reasons, then you know what? Skip this episode. But if you want to sit and you want to hold space for me, and you want to acknowledge that healers also are healing, and you want to just understand that that 5 line of mine doesn't mean that I am here to, do all of the work for you, then great, let's go, right? So there's been a lot of shit that has come up since October. My ex has been popping up and doing all kinds of shit again. And I find that that's really a sore spot for me. That relationship was very bad. There was a lot of abuse. There was rape that happened. There was animal abuse. And I won't go into details because, trust me, you don't want to hear it. But it happened, and I deal with a lot of the fallout of having to co-parent with an abuser who is still attempting to abuse me from afar, because the court systems give 0 fucks about making a woman co-parent with her rapist and abuser. They don't care. They don't care about the trauma that it inflicts on you every time you have to see this person. They don't care about the fact that it's really, really, really fucking hard to have to try to communicate nicely to a person that literally just makes you so nervous to talk to them because it brings up all the shit that they did before, right? And you can't get away from them because the court systems don't care. This person should be in jail. I did testify against them in a court of law, and they got a slap on the wrist, a literal like slap on the wrist. Like, I am not even kidding. It was absolutely appalling. My attorney was fucking appalled at no sentence whatsoever for this person and what they did. And if you want to talk about having to be fucking strong, get on a stand in a courtroom and have to tell everybody what that person did to you while they sit there in that courtroom and stare you down. While other people try to discredit you, discredit your lived experience, and tell everybody that you're lying. That the shit that happened to you either didn't happen, you're making it all up, or it did happen, but you're over dramatizing it. You're making it more dramatic than it was, right? And it's hard. So every time anything comes up with him, my body goes back into like a fight or flight mode, right? And it's something I work on continuously, and it's getting better. Over the years, it's gotten better and better. But it's not 100%, and I don't know if it ever will be 100% until I don't have to see or speak to him all the time. Now, things have gotten better since I got remarried. My ex is terrified of my spouse, absolutely terrified of my spouse. So I don't see them in person much anymore because they are terrified to come around with my spouse present. Which, let's be honest, I am not upset about at all. I have never felt so safe as I have in the presence of my partner. Talk about somebody who will calm your fucking nervous system right down, right? That guy would go to hell and back for me. He would go to jail for me. Not that I want him to, but he would. He makes sure that I am safe in every meaning of that word. Emotionally safe, physically safe, psychologically safe, spiritually safe. And he does it for our kids too. So it's not just me. He's just good in general, but he does that. And it's amazing having them, let me tell you. It is. But it doesn't mean that that erases what my trauma response is in my body still to my ex. And so that really kind of started the cascade of things. It started happening in like August, September, and it just got so overwhelming for my nervous system and myself that I couldn't do that, deal with that, heal some more on that, while also still continuing to put out weekly podcasts and weekly blog posts and, keep up with all my clients and everything. So it just literally, it was too much. And so I just kind of quietly went into hermit mode on my business, on Atla Astrology. I didn't want to, but I just could not handle helping other people while I was in the middle of that trauma response. So I was working on that, and we were doing some things, right? We left where we were in Utah, headed to Michigan to do a job up there. Got there, and the work that was promised to us was probably about a quarter of what we were promised. And so instead of getting all of the funds that we were expecting, we got probably a quarter of that, maybe half. And I'm really pushing it when I say half. It was more like a quarter. And so this meant that our funds that we were supposed to use those to top up everything and then upgrade from the van that we've been living in to bus, um, and build it out because our daughter who travels with us had hit a growth spurt over the summer and outgrew her bed that we had. And so we were like, ugh. So we needed to, upgrade. Well, we didn't get the funds. So we had to make a pretty quick decision about how we were going to get those funds so that we could change things, or we needed to come off the road and stay somewhere for a while, right? And which we're fine with doing. But quick decision happened to be made. I unfortunately, to a point, chose to go back into nursing, which, if y'all know, I fucking hate anymore. Um, it was getting worse and worse, and then COVID hit, and it just tanked it into the fucking toilet, and it's just been even worse since, right? And so it was rough. I made the decision, and I 100% accept that it was my decision. No one forced me into it. My husband didn't force my hand. He never would. Um, we had a lot of discussions about it, a lot of discussions. We talked about it frequently about whether or not this was the right decision, if we should even do it, you know, if we should find another way, if, right? Lots of ifs. But ultimately, the quickest way to get what we needed and not have to be somewhere for 9 months to a year was for me to take on a nursing contract because they do pay you at a higher rate, and I could do in 13 weeks what would take like 9 to 12 months otherwise. So we decided to do that as long as I could get GI nursing, endoscopy, and do like outpatient stuff. So I put it out to the universe, and literally like 2 days later, I get a text message from a company I have never worked with. So I don't even know how they had my information, offering an endoscopy position. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, okay, universe, I will take this as the sign that it probably is, and we'll run with it. So I responded that hell yeah, I was interested, and let's discuss. Got on the phone, got a call, discussed all that stuff, and we decided to go. I've said it before on here, and I will continue to say it forever. I am a full sun plant. I need lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of sun in my life. A lot of this is because Saturn is directly next to my sun in my chart, and it suppresses that vital force in me, and so I need lots of actual sunlight to help like top up my battery, if you will, right? So part of it is just the way I'm designed. The other part is I have a ton of fucking water in my chart, and I need a lot of sun to help balance out all of that moisture, right? I'm like super moist. I need a little bit more dryness. So I need sun. And I've said this before, and I'll continue saying it. That's just who I am. And I will acknowledge that. I probably need way more sun than maybe anybody else on this planet or that I know currently. So we usually spend our summers, no, not our summers. That's way too hot. I like heat, but even that's too hot for me. We spend our winters in Arizona because they have sun basically 330 days a year plus sometimes more. So, roughly almost the entire year is sunny. It's very rare that they have like an actual cloudy, day or partially sunny day or anything, right? And I stay out there because I feel good. I feel really good. I get a lot of shit done. I'm happy. My body is happy. I'm healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually when I'm out west. Well, unfortunately, this nursing job was not out west. It was in the Midwest, which, if anybody has ever lived in the Midwest, will tell you that the Midwest of the United States is like an absolute sinkhole of no sun during the winter. Having grown up in the Midwest, I can say this with certainty that there is not a lot of sun at all during the winter. And it's long, long winter, very cold. What else do I hate? The cold. So I literally said to the universe, like, are you absolutely fucking positive about this location? Because, like, yeah, no, I purposely avoid the Midwest anymore during the winter. So what are you thinking? And I definitely got a confirmation that we were supposed to be there. And let me tell you, I said okay, and I willingly went. but it was the suckiest few months of my life in a very long time. We got there. The start date was like very late December after Christmas. So I get there. We get all set up. We're staying with a friend that actually, ironically, we got into a town where I actually know someone that lives there. I mean, seriously, what are the odds of that? So we're staying with them for a little bit until we could get into a house because we didn't want to stay in the van during the winter. Super cold there. I'm like, hell no. But rental houses aren't cheap and we needed some more funds under our belt for that. So I had to wait a couple weeks till I got paid. So I was like, okay. So we're staying with a friend. We're there for like 3 days and fucking like Snowmageddon happens. There's like 6 inches of ice with snow on top of it. Trees are falling down everywhere. And of course, I have to go to work. It's like my second day of work when this happens. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I'm like, this is why I don't usually spend the winters in the Midwest because this is winter in the Midwest, right? So I go out to leave, and there is a tree that has fallen into the road, and it has missed my van by like mere inches. And I'm like, oh my God. I am slipping and sliding all the way to work. I get there, they're basically like, oh, you drove yourself? And I'm like, yeah, how else was I supposed to get here? Do y'all like magically just poof over here? Do you have telepathy, teleportation? Like, how does this work here? Apparently there's some organization there that it's a bunch of like dudes mainly with like four-wheel drive vehicles, mainly Jeeps, that will come and like pick you up, take you to work, and then take you back because they just love being able to like drive all over in the fucking snow and ice, I guess. But of course, I don't know this. I'm not from there. So I was like, yeah, I drove myself. Why? Anyways, they were pretty shocked that a person from out west could do that. I'm like, you guys know how much snow we actually get out west? We do get a lot of snow. That's why I choose to go to Arizona instead of staying on our property because our property is at 8,500 feet above sea level on like 10 miles of dirt roads before you get to a paved road. And we get a hell of a lot of snow. And if you don't have a plow on the front of your vehicle, you ain't getting out. You are stuck wherever you are until the snow melts. So that's why we don't stay there during the winter. We do summers. So anyway, we get there. This happens. I know that my body does not like lack of sun, and the lack of sun is going to be a possibility, a definite, I guess, a definitive. So I start taking extra vitamin D, and I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do. Well, let me just tell you that it did fuck all for me this winter. I had the seasonal affective disorder that I have struggled with my whole life hit me like a ton of fucking bricks. It felt like I had gotten a literal ton of bricks piled on top of me, and then a semi truck ran over me, and then I got hit by a train. Um, I was not well, especially mentally. I hit a severe depression. I was barely making it through the day. I could barely get out of bed. I was struggling with a lot of mental health issues. And I did all the things that I know to do that are in my toolbox that I've had for years that usually work. This year, they did not work. So I had to find some other tools. Um, and so I did. I sought out practitioners to help me. But in the meantime, while I was still trying to do the work myself, um, I was struggling. I was struggling bad. I had a lot of suicidal ideations. There was a lot of the whole world would be better off if I just wasn't here. What is the point of me being here? Nobody would care if I was gone. And it would make a lot of the shit that I have dealt with in my life just be easier to deal with because I wouldn't be here anymore to deal with it, right? And while, like, objectively, I know that none of that is true, I was not in a very objective decision making mood all winter. There was a lot of crying, there was a lot of just laying in bed, there was a lot of being miserable. And it was a really, really, really rough winter for me. Like, I don't know if I can even convey in words how awful this winter was for me, while all still trying to work as a nurse. And we found a bus, built out a bus. And so I did not do anything with my business or the podcast or anything, right? Because I just literally could not. And I had to give myself some grace on that because I was raised in a household where if you weren't productive, then you might as well just not exist as a person, right? Because productivity was the be all end all of like you being worthy as a human being. The whole idle hands are the devil's workshop basically thing, ideology from, living in basically being raised by a cult. And so that informs a lot of how you respond when things like this happen, right? The trauma that has come from being told that you can't just rest when you need to rest, that you shouldn't listen to your body. And it brought up a lot of shit from my childhood that I thought I had gotten through, that I had worked my way through and I was on the other side of, and I have moved past that. So now I can work on other childhood stuff from different times in my childhood, right? Well, surprise, surprise, some of that shit that I thought I worked through decided that it was going to come back up. And the main thing that wanted to come up was the fact that at 5 years old, I was sexually assaulted. And I never, ever felt safe to tell my parents that. I tried once, and it just like the words just wouldn't come out. And it's because they never made me ever feel safe to share things with them. Anything you shared could and would be used against you later for their purposes, whatever purpose that may be. Most of it was just to, humiliate you, shame you, and get you under their thumb so you would obey better, right? And so I didn't feel safe to tell them. And I think I've mentioned this before, my dad was a minister in the cult that I was raised in. And so for years, he used that event that had happened, where he didn't know all of the details of, obviously, because I hadn't told them, but he used that event that happened that had severely traumatized me at 5 years of age in a lot of his sermons as a look at how blessed we are by God kind of a thing. And so that trauma was just completely re-afflicted on me at least 3 to 4 times a year. He would use that story constantly. And those were just for the services that I was in. Sometimes I wasn't in the service because I was doing other things in the church at the time. So I wasn't sitting in the service, so I didn't hear all of it. So I'm pretty sure he probably used it more than that. That's just about the amount of times that I actually was there and present and heard it. It was like his illustration that he loved. And I tried telling them at 19, 20, somewhere in there, I think I was, what had actually happened in that event beyond what they knew, like the other details that had been left out. And instead of hearing me or having any sympathy or empathy or like, holy fucking shit, like I'm so sorry that you didn't feel safe to come and tell us this before. Like, we are sorry that we ever made you feel that you couldn't tell us this. Literally got told by my mother that the devil was using me to impede on my father's ministry by having me make up lies of things that didn't happen because I didn't want people to hear about how amazing God was during that time in our lives. So when people ask me why I'm not religious anymore, there you go. That's a good piece of it right there, y'all. Why I don't go to church, and why I will not go back to church. Why I will not be a part of anybody else's religion ever again, because that's the majority of them. And I'm sure there's some that won't, and I haven't participated or been, in every single religion, but in the ones that are mainly the main ones here in the US where I live, that's how they react to things like that. You're the problem. It's never anybody else. And I won't subject myself to that ever again. I found my path, and finding that path has actually done more for me than religion ever did, or ever will do, for me specifically. Your mileage may vary. So that was coming up a lot. And there was a few other instances of sexual assault that happened that were coming up, but that was the main one. And my body hurt. I was having a ton of pain, especially in my lower abdomen, pelvic area, kind of where like your uterus normally sits, right? And I shouldn't be having pain like that in that area. In the intensity that it was. There was like no reason for it outside of like this shit coming up, right? And so I didn't even know I don't even know what I need to do about this. Like I don't feel good. I'm hurting. All this stuff I'm doing, but I need something else. And I was in such a state that I couldn't even like put it out to the universe like I normally do. Because I am telling y'all, when I tell you that I was not myself, I was not myself. I was in the shit, and I was mainly dealing with it internally because that's what I do. Because as I mentioned at the beginning of this, when I tell other people what's going on, they poof out of my life, and I would really like not to lose any more of my friends. And so I was dealing with it all inside. I didn't even tell my spouse, which is not like me. I usually tell him things because he's safe, but I just couldn't even bring myself to tell him this time either. And so it was rough. I was dealing with all this by myself. And we're not meant to go it alone as humans. Like I know this, right? I know this. I tell my clients this. I tell you all this. We're not meant to go it alone. We need outside people sometimes, right? We need a community around us. And I feel like I don't ever really build a community, because as soon as I build a community, what I think is a community of people that want to be in my realm, when I tell them things, they disappear. And so I just don't ever feel like that community extends toward me in the way that I'm looking for and I need, right? So I just don't tell people anything. Which, when you're trying to deal with shit and work through things, is not 100% the best way to do it for everybody. Some people do really great dealing with it on their own internally, and then they go, and I usually do, but this time I was struggling. So anyways, back to, I'm not even sure what I need, but something. I see an ad on Facebook of all places, because I've just been literally doom scrolling for months, because I just, getting out of bed is too hard. When I'm not having to be at work, it's too hard on the days I have to work too, but I do it because we needed it. But I was struggling severely on those days while at work. An ad comes up for myofascial release, and it was just like an immediate yes in my body. Yes, that's what you need. So I started Googling if there was any myofascial release people in the town that I was in, or in the one nearby, or even like hours away. At this point, I was desperate enough to drive like wherever, right? I don't care what state it's in, like where is it and can I get there within an hour or two, then let's go. And I found one in that same place that I was, which I was like, okay. And let me tell you something that also happens a lot when people are healing that makes them quit a lot of times or not want to do it because of this. It's the fact that when you start working on things, your body, your ego, your subconscious, they all want to keep you safe, right? From the shit that's coming up. And so things will get worse before they get better. A lot of times, as your body's pushing things out, things will get worse. Your body will hurt more. Your mental health might be worse. The symptom that you're trying to fix is now worse than it was before, right? And also, your body, your mind will bring up things like, oh, you don't really need to go there because they're just not going to be like everybody else. They're not going to believe you. They're not going to want to listen to you. They're going to poof out of your life. You just need to stay right here where you are. Your emotions will get the better of you. You'll start crying. You'll feel terrible. Like you just have this feeling of dread, like I shouldn't be going there. And it can make it really hard to continue healing something when everything in you is screaming not to because your body is trying to keep you safe. And let me tell you, on the day of my appointment for my first one, every single one of those things happened to me. It was really hard to show up for that because my body hurt so bad I could barely get out of bed. I was shaking. It was like so much pain. My mental health was in the toilet. It was screaming at me not to go. I was sobbing for like literally no reason that I could discern, right? Like no logical reason. Um, and remember, emotions aren't logical. So I mean, you could cry for any reason, but my brain was searching for a logical reason as to why I was like suddenly like sobbing over, everything. I was sobbing. I came up with every excuse in the book as to why I shouldn't go. It was too far away. I had to make a pit stop first because, uh, they took cash only, so I had to make a pit stop to get cash, and it was just on and on and on and on and on and on and on about why I shouldn't go. And knowing this, like I do about healing and how when you're going in the right direction and it's something you're meant to be doing, that a lot of times these things and these blocks will come up because your body's trying to keep you safe and your brain's trying to keep you safe and your ego's trying to keep you safe. I said to myself, this is what's happening and I'm going to push through it. So I basically told my partner, I was like, look, I know what's going on and I'm going to tell you I don't want to go. You're going to put me into the car. You're going to either make me go or you're going to take me. Like, do not let me not go here. It takes me like 25 minutes, I think it was, to get to this place. It takes me 25 minutes to get there. You're going to call me after the 25 minutes. You're going to make sure that I'm there because I had to stop first, and get cash. So 25 minutes, you're going to call me when I get there. It's been 25 minutes. You're going to make sure that I am there if you haven't come with me, right? Like I put all of these safeguards in place because I knew that this was probably going to happen because it was something was going on in my body that really needed fixing and it didn't want to deal with the stuff that comes up with it, right? I wanted to keep me safe and I didn't feel safe. Talking about any of this stuff, working on any of this stuff, I didn't feel safe at all. My nervous system was like, oh, fuck no. So I forced myself to go, and let me tell you, I get there, I walk in, and instantly this practitioner just made me feel so safe. She spoke with me about what was going on, like, why are you here? Like, because it was our first meeting, so we had like kind of more of like a little consultation first. So we did that. And as soon as she said, what are you here for? I burst into tears. Like, I'm sobbing. I can't even hardly get words out. And my brain was instantly, you got to stop because, they're going, they're going to leave. They're going to abandon you. They're going to hit you because that happened in my childhood when I would cry or be upset. And I literally could not make myself stop. And I just looked at her and I managed to squeak out, I don't know what's wrong, but I need this. I need this session. And she just held space. And it was beautiful to have somebody else there who really got it and wasn't trying to like force me to talk when I couldn't, right? And she said, okay. let's get you on the table and we will start. And as soon as she started, she put her hands over, she asked where the pain was, and I kind of just pointed because I couldn't get anything else out because I had mentioned in the form that I filled out online that I was having pain and where I was. So she was just clarifying that's still where it was. As soon as she put her hands over top my abdomen, right where the pain had been, that pain got so bad. I about jumped off the damn table, y'all. It was intense. But it's like it was begging to come out and it just couldn't. And when she touched that area, it just was like, oh, we can be released now. And everything, all the pain from years and years and years and years of decided to come from wherever in my body and exit through that area. And it was intense. There was a lot of crying, writhing, screaming. It was a lot of emotion, way more emotion than I thought there would be because I'm not a very emotional person with people that I don't know very well. I tend to hold everything again inside because, And I had signed up for an hour-long session, and by the end of the hour-long session, I thought I had made a mistake. About 10 minutes in, I was like, fuck, we got 50 more minutes of this. I don't know if I'm going to survive. Like, it was bad. She did her magic, which is basically what myofascial release is. It feels like is magic, but she followed the cues of my body and did her thing, and it was amazing. We got through that session, and it probably took me a good 20 minutes to be able to get up off the table afterwards because my body was so drained. I should have made my partner take me because I somehow drove home after this. Don't ask me how. That was probably not a safe decision at all. I She gave me some water to help me up off the table because I was not making it on my own, and I was really out of it. Really out of it. My body felt really good again, like the pain was gone, but I was very like felt like I was drifting. Okay. Like I felt like I was high without being high on anything, if that makes sense. That feeling of like you're kind of just floating and you're not really like here, but you're here. I don't know. It was really strange. I somehow made it home and then I just listened to what my body wanted to journal. So I wrote down a bunch of the stuff and got it out of me. I took a really long shower because I just really wanted to like cleanse my spirit too, and water does that really well, right? So I took a really long shower and then I basically drank like a metric ton of water and just stayed in bed like the rest of the day. Um, it was very jumpy emotionally. Um, there was a lot of anger that kept coming up that day, but it helped. It helped a lot. Like I felt worlds better like a day or two later. Like it really sank in that I was like, oh, I feel better. And I felt better even with my sad felt better. Like everything was starting to feel better. So I went back 2 or 3 more times before we left and got more sessions just to really work things through because the way myofascial release works is like peeling back layers of an onion, right? And so you have to keep going through the layers. And I needed to go through the layers. And I feel like we got pretty deep, and I will continue where we are now. I'm going to find another practitioner and probably do a few more sessions just to, again, work on my own healing because I can't help anybody else if I'm not helping myself first, right? That's the first rule of like anything. You're in an airplane and they're like, if the airplane's going down, put on your own oxygen mask first, right? Because you can't help the neighbor next to you if you're passed out from lack of oxygen. And that's how this works. I can't help other people if I'm not working on myself and filling up my own cup and working on my own issues. So I've been working on that. And it's hard to work on this shit while raising a family. Like, my daughter's here with us and and my youngest son, and it's hard sometimes because I don't want them to just see me being what looks like, this like constantly like sobbing mess. But then at the same time, I want them to understand that it's okay sometimes to be a sobbing mess, um, because you need to work through things, and you can't work through things sometimes if you don't cry, right? Crying helps release oxytocin and all these things that you need to get through things. It resets your nervous system. It regulates things. It really helps move things out. Like there's a reason that, we cry. Crying is good for our bodies, like literally good for our bodies. And so like I want them to see that, but there's like a balance of how much they need to see their mom being a sobbing mess and how much do I need to work through this without them being around. And so that piece has been hard. I will say things now that we're away from the Midwest, we have left and we are somewhere that gets a lot more sun. Things have definitely been improving. I don't feel as tired anymore. My depression definitely is leaving. The suicidal ideations are gone. I feel connected to spirit again. I think part of it too was that that area that we were in, nobody liked being there. The people that lived there did not like being there. They were all really mean. Everybody hated it. Every single person I talked to hated living there. And I'm like, well, if you hate it so much, like, why are you staying? Like, if I hate somewhere that much, like, I would attempt to find a way to change that situation, right? And I understand not everybody can, and this is definitely not, trying to say anything about people who, can't get out of their living situations. I get that. There's a whole different ball game. But if you have the means and the ability to do so, I don't understand staying somewhere that makes you that miserable. And maybe that's just me because I have that reflector ability to like really pick up on the energies and feel what everyone else is feeling. But that area felt terrible to me. Like, I think that's part of the reason why my SAD was as bad as it was I was really picking up on everybody else's energy there, and nobody else liked being there. I didn't meet a single person, and the whole time we were there, who liked it there. Even people who lived there their whole lives hated it. All they talked about was how terrible it was and how much they hated it. And I'm just like, okay, it makes it really hard to be somewhere when nobody likes being there. So lack of sun definitely was not helping. But I really think too it was a lot of the attitudes and the collective energy in that area was very not good. Um, Even my husband felt it. Even he said, he's like, there's something wrong with this area. He's like, it feels oppressive. Like I feel like nobody likes it here. And I was like, this is before we even met anybody. Like literally before we met anybody, talked to him. As soon as we drove into town, we both went, oh, this doesn't feel good. So we all felt it. Like there was just the whole collective, just energy in that area was off. So we're somewhere where the collective energy is much better, make me happier. Things are looking up. So as I promised, I will tell you what's coming up. So I've added some new readings into Atla Astrology. I've kind of broken up the medical astrology readings into smaller pieces. So there's my specialty one that I've had this whole time where you can get like safe surgery dates and understandings of like that. If a practitioner is going to be a good fit for you, if you want to get pregnant and hey, when's the best like fertility window for me to do this? That one I would need your partner's information too. Or if you don't have a partner and you're doing like IVF or something, that's fine. If we can do just yours in that case. But if you have a partner that you are, choosing to get pregnant with, then I would need their information too. But those are the kind of things that the specialty reading falls into. And then I had like the in-depth medical astrology reading. So there wasn't really anything in between that. It was just little tiny things or like everything. And I just feel called by spirit to kind of break them down a little more. So now I have the specialty readings. I have astronutrition readings where I just talk about the astronutrition that's going on in your body and how you're cosmically designed to like uptake nutrients and which foods are best for your body. So it kind of is really in line with my astro aligned kitchen. So that'd be actually a good thing to grab that astro nutrition reading and then the astro aligned kitchen and kind of go through them together. That'd be awesome. So I have that one, and now I have an intuitive medical astrology reading where all you give me is your date of birth and all the stuff, and I just follow where I'm supposed to go, um, based on what my intuition is saying, your energy that I'm picking up on, my spirit guides, things like that, right? So it's just a very intuitive reading. You give me nothing but the information I need to run a chart and your name, and that's all I need, right? Kind of a thing. So that's there. Um, so that's good. And then I have the in-depth ones. So I have 4 different like readings now, and they vary in prices based on which one you're getting, right? Um, but they start at like $111 and they kind of go up from there. I changed up my packages so you can get the medical astrology reading plus some follow-up calls. So I have some packages. I changed those up a tiny bit and changed the pricing on those a little bit to reflect um, the pricing on the readings, the new pricing on the readings. So we have that. Spirit has also been yelling at me a lot lately to do more on my YouTube channel. And so I dropped a video Monday, May, what are we at, 19th, um, on my YouTube channel that is literally going to be, there's more coming, but this is the current one. But the videos are all going to be about like how to incorporate what's currently going on in the sky and the cosmos with like the astro nutrition, nourishing your family, your own bodies. There'll be some spiritual stuff on that. I'm just kind of, that channel's just going to go where spirit leads. So currently the spirit is guiding that I'm to do a lot more like nutrition stuff, astro nutrition things, and my teachings on that, and help people like figure out how to prepare meals that nourish your body with what your specific body needs. So there's gonna be a lot of recipes and things on there. People keep asking me for a cookbook. Like literally, people keep asking me for a cookbook. I don't know if this is Spirit's way of saying write a fucking cookbook or what, but I keep getting asked. I do have a cookbook that I have put together that is a lot of my recipes and then some from other people, that I've adapted in the Astro Aligned Kitchen program. So you could definitely sign up for that. It's only $9 US. So not a lot of money to grab that and you get the cookbook. Or I recently made it where you can buy just the cookbook digitally, download it, print it off, whatever you want to do, on my site. And that's only $5 if you want just the cookbook. So there's that as well. But video dropped Monday, May 19th for the first video of that on my YouTube channel. I'm just going to tell you guys it's going to be messy. It's going to be messy energy. It's not going to be a lot of editing. There's not going to be a lot of, like super professional kitchen stuff going on. I'm not a chef. I'm a damn good cook and I can nourish my family very, very well. And my family is very, very happy with the food that I provide, but I'm not a chef. And so that's not how the videos are going to be. It's definitely not going to be any like, look at your amazing chopping skills, right? I can get the job done, but I am not a professional, right? In that way, I know nutrition really fucking well. I have a lot of degrees and things that help me with that, right? So I'm good at. So it's more about like the astro nutrition piece and how to piece it all together. Like for the one that dropped Monday, it was for Moon Day. So we talk about the moon, where the moon is at, why we're using this, what foods we're feeding our bodies today in that recipe because of the moon being in that location, and what we're trying to do with that. So there's a lot of like educational pieces in there, as well as me making a meal and giving you a recipe for something you can try. So that's where that's going, and then it'll kind of just be wherever spirit leads. I also have started doing intuitive healing sessions. These are like one-off sessions. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a package of them yet or not, but for now, one-off sessions, 30 minutes to start. I may add a 60-minute one, where we jump on a live call together virtually, either on video or on like an actual phone call. I prefer the video because then I can record it for you, but whatever works for you works for me. And I just kind of tap into your energy and see what your body is telling me, what your energy is telling me, your soul is telling me, your guides are telling me that you really need to focus on, and where like the root cause is for things. So I've done a few of these recently, and they've gone really, really well. People have really liked them because it's really given them some quick, actionable tips to like jump in and things to start doing, and they can feel the difference by the end of the session of just like the lightness, because while I'm in there tapping into your energy and kind of reading your body, I'm also like moving things around and healing things on like a quantum level from where I am. So it's like an energy healing session combined with like a medical intuitive reading, right? So those are now available on my site as well. 30-minute sessions, $45. So go grab one. If you've been wanting to do a session with me, but you're just like, I don't know if I want a whole reading, those are a quick, like, let's jump in and go kind of a thing, right? And get some quick steps. And then, you can go from there if you want something more. If you need something deeper, then yeah, let's discuss what that looks like, right? But yeah, so those are up, and that's kind of where things are going for now. Um, yeah, things are definitely looking up. I didn't want this whole thing to be like super like heavy, but I just also wanted to go where spirit wanted me to talk about, and it really wanted me to talk about some of the heavy stuff. So the heavy stuff is out. If you're still listening, thank you. I appreciate all of you, my listeners. I appreciate you sticking around while I've been going through the shit and still hanging out here to listen to me now that I'm back. As far as that goes, too, I'm going to um, do things a little differently for the podcast. I probably will not be putting out weekly episodes anymore. That is a lot for my energy to do, especially if I'm also going to be doing some videos for YouTube based on what, where Spirit's guiding me with that. So I'm thinking probably twice a month, so like every other week. And also, we'll just go where Spirit guides, right? If they want me to put out 4 one month and like 2 the next, then that's what we're doing. I'm following my energy flow with this, and I'm not going to necessarily be putting one out every week. So I hope you stick around anyway, even though they're not coming out weekly anymore. I'm not sure about doing the soul-led conversations anymore. If that's something that you're like, hell yeah, we love those, please like drop it in a comment, send me an email about it, info@atlaastrology.com, because that really helps me decide for sure if we're going to keep those. But I just haven't decided if I really want to continue those or not. It's a lot of energy to have to book people and find a time and record and all that stuff. So if y'all really are like, hell yes, let's keep those, then let's go, right? We'll do it. But if it's something that you're just kind of like, you know what, we really can do without those, hey, let me know that too, because then I can make a better decision and we can go from there. All right, that's everything. I think I've kept you long enough. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. I will talk to you later. Love and light.